Thank you for joining us. My name is Stella, and this video is meant for cancer patients going through treatment, cancer survivors, caregivers, and anyone else who'd like to try the Yoga for Cancer program at home. A chair-based yoga class is a great complementary therapy that helps reduce stress and fatigue, helps relieve anxiety and depression, and can assist with pain management. This practice can lead to an overall improved quality of life. We like to start by placing a chair on a yoga mat. If you don't have a yoga mat, that's okay. You can practice without one. It's nice if you have some small blankets or towels, one for the seat of the chair to add comfort, and one for underneath the feet to add comfort and support. Once you're ready, find your seat on the chair, allow the feet to rest comfortably in the blanket. The hands can rest in the legs. Find a nice, tall, straight posture, and then as you're ready, allow the eyes to softly close, and we'll begin our awareness practice. And begin by just noticing the natural breath, without trying to change anything. Just observing the inhale and the exhale, noticing how it feels to breathe without any effort. And also checking in with how the physical body feels completely supported. Noticing the feet on the earth, noticing the hips on the chair, even observing how the hands help support the body by resting on the legs. And then as you're ready, just begin to check in on that physical level. And we'll start by just observing any feelings or sensations that we can throughout the physical body. Starting with the top of the head, noticing any feelings or sensations. Observing the back of the head. Becoming aware of the facial features, the forehead, the cheeks, the jaw. Noticing all around the neck and the tops of the shoulders. Just becoming fully aware of the physical level. Noticing the arms, begin to observe the upper arms, the low arms. Become aware of the hands and the fingertips. Just noticing any sensations that you can along the way. Observing what comes up for you. Draw that line of awareness back up the arms and begin to observe the upper chest and the upper back. Noticing any feelings or sensations and maybe anything associated with the breath. Begin to observe the low ribs and the middle back, kind of that middle section of the torso. Noticing the belly, noticing the low back. Again, just looking for and observing any sensations that you can notice. Observe the hips, the pelvis. Begin to become aware of the legs, noticing the upper legs. Maybe observing the weight of the hands and the legs, and the chair underneath the legs. Notice the knees. Notice the low legs. Looking for any feelings or sensations. Observing the ankles and the feet. And finally noticing the tips of the toes. And then as you're ready, begin to bring your awareness into your energy and just noticing if the energy feels like it's high, if there's any sense of anxiety or restlessness, or if the energy feels low, if there's any sense of fatigue or sleepiness. Noticing if the energy feels as if it's anywhere in between those two extremes, anywhere on that spectrum. Maybe it's a combination, or maybe you feel as if you're right in the middle, calm and balanced. Once you've checked in with the energy, begin to notice the mind. Notice what it feels like to check in with the thoughts, noticing what's passing through the mind. Just observing any themes or any patterns. Notice how it feels to look for space in between the thoughts. And just observe the mind without trying to change anything or push anything away. And as you're ready, begin to notice kind of your more subtle self, checking in with your emotional self. Just noticing anything that comes up for you. Again, without pushing anything away or pushing anything down. Notice what it feels like to fully experience your emotional self. Just observing without becoming carried away by the emotions. And as you're ready, slowly begin to bring the awareness back into the breath. Just observing first the natural inhale and exhale. Just begin to observe the breath and just notice how it feels to breathe naturally. Notice how the physical body is rising and falling with the inhale and the exhale. Noticing where the breath is entering the body. Noticing how the breath feels as it leaves the body. And as you're ready, slowly begin to deepen the breath. Maybe begin to expand the belly at the beginning of every inhale. Allow the breath to reach up as far up the body as is comfortable. And as you exhale, just notice how everything simply falls back into place. So at the beginning of every inhale, the belly expands. Maybe the low ribs expand, the chest rises. And as you exhale, the chest falls, the ribs relax, and the belly softens. And just continue to breathe up and down the physical body, expanding with every inhale. Notice how everything falls back into place with every exhale. Noticing how it feels to have this control over the breath as you deepen every inhale and lengthen every exhale. Noticing how it feels to fill up from the bottom, the middle, all the way to the top of the chest. And as you exhale, emptying from the top, the middle, all the way to the bottom, softening the belly. Practicing a few more rounds of this deepened breath. Noticing anything that changes in the physical body, anything that changes in the mind. Noticing any part of the energy that feels as if it changes with the breath. And as you're ready, just soften the breath to your natural breath. Letting go of any sense of control. Begin to become aware of the physical body again. Maybe stretch out the fingers, move the toes. And as you're ready, slowly opening the eyes, coming back into your space. And just maybe taking whatever stretches feel comfortable for your body after sitting in the chair for so long. You guys stay put. I'm going to head to the studio so we can start our physical practice. When you're ready, we're going to move into the head and neck series, getting into the neck and the tops of the shoulders and behind the head. So with your next inhale, begin to lengthen through the spine. And exhale, just relax the shoulders. Inhale, find that same sense of lengthening through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, just begin to lower the chin towards the chest, gently creating space behind the neck. When you're ready, inhale, lengthening the front of the throat, lifting the chin, looking up as far as is comfortable. And then exhale, slowly lowering the chin back to the chest. And just begin to move with your own breath rate, finding that range of motion that's comfortable. Noticing any release and tension from behind the neck. Noticing that sense of creating space with the inhale across the front of the throat. Good. Next inhale, find center. And relax the shoulders. When you're ready, again, inhale, lengthening through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, just allow one ear to move towards the shoulder. Good. Inhale back to center, lifting the head. Exhale, move the opposite ear towards the opposite shoulder. And inhale back to center. Good. And again, continuing with your own breath rate at your own pace. Just moving with the breath in your own comfortable range of motion. Noticing that sense of creating space into each side of the neck. And again, noticing any release and tension from the movement. Practicing that full awareness. Good. Next, inhale, find center. And relax the shoulders. Again, inhale, lengthening through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, just begin to move the chin across the horizon, looking over towards the side. Inhale, find your way back to center. Looking in front of the body, then exhale, begin to look over towards the opposite shoulder. Again, keeping the chin parallel with the floor, moving horizontally back and forth with the breath. Noticing your range of motion here. Maybe it feels more comfortable to go a little bit farther on one side than the other. Just observing and practicing that full awareness. Linking the movement to the breath and releasing any tension. Next, inhale, find your way back to center. And again, soften the shoulders. Again, inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. When you're ready, exhale, soften and relax the shoulders. And then begin to inhale, pull the shoulders up towards the ears. And exhale, relax the shoulders back down the spine. Begin to move with the breath. Inhale, shrugging the shoulders up towards the ears. And exhale, slowly and with control, releasing the shoulders back down to a resting position. Good. Just continuing to move up and down with the breath. Noticing any part of the movement that doesn't feel smooth. Noticing if you need to slow down the movement to really move with the breath. Noticing the shoulder blades sliding up and down the spine. Good. One more time. Inhale, pulling the shoulders up towards the ears. And exhale, softening and relaxing the shoulders back into place. Moving into shoulder circles. Begin to move with the breath. Inhale, pull the shoulders forward and up. And as you exhale, circle the shoulders back and down. Inhale, pull the shoulders forwards and up. And exhale, circle the shoulders back and down. Continuing to move with the breath and noticing any release and tension. Noticing how it feels to continue to soften the shoulders away from the ears with every exhale. Noticing your comfortable range of motion, noticing how big you can make the circles comfortably. Finding one more circle, moving with the breath. And then when you're ready, just exhale and relax the shoulders. And just gently shake out the hands, release any tension we've caused in the hands. Moving into the hands and the arms. When you're ready, begin to extend as you inhale the arms out towards the front of the body, keeping the hands about chest level. And just begin to exhale, press the fingers down towards the ground. And as you inhale, rolling the fingers up towards the ceiling, rolling through the wrists and every joint in the fingers. Exhale, pressing the hands down. Inhale, rolling the wrists up, extending the fingers, stretching through the fingers. Good. Continue these movements with the breath. Just noticing any release and tension in the hands and the fingers. Noticing if it becomes too much in the arms, you can always lower the hands down to find a resting position. Good. One more time. Inhale, rolling the hands and the fingers up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, just lower the hands all the way down, back to the knees. And just allow a moment for any sense of fatigue to kind of wash away from the arms and the hands. When you're ready, again, inhale, extend the arms to the front of the body. Next, inhale, turn the palms face up. Exhale, relax the shoulders. Next, inhale, begin to move the hands and fingers towards the shoulders, just as far as is comfortable, maybe lifting the elbows. Good. Next, inhale, begin to extend the arms back towards the front of the body, palms face up. And begin to move with the breath. Exhale, fingertips towards the shoulders. Elbows lift. Inhale, extend. Straightening the arms, stretching through the fingers. Good. One more time. Exhale, hands towards the shoulders. And inhale, extend. And then exhale again, move the hands towards the shoulders. Allow the fingertips to rest on the shoulders and begin to find circles with the elbows. Bring the elbows forward and up with the inhale, moving them back and down with the exhale. Good, just begin to move with the breath here, circling the elbows. Finding those circles that are within your comfortable range of motion. Good, one more time. Inhale. And then exhale, lower the elbows, allow the hands to find their way back to that resting position on top of the legs. When you're ready, begin to inhale the arms up and overhead in front of the body. As you exhale, begin to move the fingertips behind the head. Allow those fingertips to rest gently behind the head and neck. We'll begin to move into some Cobra movements. So as you inhale, extend the elbows towards the back of the body as far as is comfortable. And as you exhale, just move the elbows towards each other. The chin may move towards the chest. Inhale, opening, creating that space across the front of the chest. And exhale, move the elbows together and chin towards the chest. Maybe noticing creating that space behind the body between the shoulder blades. Good, just moving with the breath. Always finding that comfortable range of motion. If the arms become tired, you can always lower the hands down to the legs. Good, next inhale, move the elbows to the sides. Extend the arms up overhead. Exhale, move the hands all the way down to rest on top of the legs or the knees. When you're ready, begin to inhale, extend the fingertips down towards the sides, like you're reaching towards the floor on both sides of the chair. Beginning to find that rotation in the shoulders. As you inhale, turn the palms face up, maybe out to the sides as far as is comfortable. And as you exhale, the palms rotate back down, maybe even pressing towards the wall behind you. Good, inhale, rotating open, palms open, maybe noticing the shoulders rotate open. Exhale, palms rotating back, maybe noticing the shoulders rolling forward. Good, moving with the breath. Noticing how it feels, again, to create that space. Noticing how it feels to find that comfortable range of motion, and noticing here even if the left side feels different from the right. Backing off from any part of the movement that feels as if it's too much. Good, when you're ready, just allow the hands to find their way back to the legs. Allow yourself a moment to rest the arms and the hands and the fingers. When you're ready, begin to bring the hands towards the heart in a prayer position. And just begin to notice that contact between the palms, between the fingertips. And just very gently begin to press those palms and fingertips towards each other. Just creating that gentle pressure. You might notice the elbows slightly lift. Try to relax the shoulders, but notice that activation in the shoulders and the chest. And continue with a breath instead of holding the breath, which can be tempting when we're holding a pose. And when you're ready, relax the shoulders, relax the elbows, release the pressure between the palms. And we'll do that 2 more times. Begin to press into the palms, elbows gently lift, but relax the shoulders, noticing that activation between the palms and the fingers. Maybe pressing equally into all of the fingertips. And with your next exhale, relax the shoulders and the elbows again. Release the pressure between the palms. Good, 1 more time, begin to create that pressure, gently pressing into the palms and the fingertips. Relax the shoulders, notice the breath. Maybe 1 more deep inhale, then exhale, relax the shoulders, the elbows, the hands find their way all the way to a resting position on the legs. Moving into the feet and the legs, getting some movement into the feet and the ankles. Just begin to extend the right leg in front of the body. And start with finding that pointing and flexing motion. Just moving very slowly. Maybe starting off with just a very gentle movement, and then begin to grow the movement. Maybe pulling the toes back towards you, pointing through the toes. Good. When you're ready, begin to find circles with this ankle. Maybe they start off as smaller circles. Noticing any release and tension through the feet, the ankles, the toes. Notice that you're increasing that circulation all the way into the tips of the toes. When you're ready, changing direction and just observing your range of motion. Noticing how smooth the circles are. If it feels like you're skipping over any part of the circle, or if it feels like you need to slow the movement down. When you're ready, finding your way back to center. And here, keeping the heel in the same position. See if you can wave the toes back and forth. And you might notice the entire leg kind of shifting in that hip socket. Just noticing how it feels to activate muscles on the outside of the legs and the insides of the legs. And you can either stay here with this kind of waving back and forth, or you can begin to follow the heel across the front of the body. So kind of moving the heel towards the outer line of the body, like you're dragging the heel through the sand, and then switching and moving the heel back towards the midline of the body. Good. Inhale, maybe out to the side. Allow your exhale to move the leg back to center. And just noticing if this becomes too much, you can always allow the foot to rest back on the blanket. Good. Next inhale, find your way back to center. Release any tension in the ankles or the toes, and slowly lower that foot back towards the blanket. And grabbing underneath that same right leg, either around underneath the back of the leg or around the knee. As you exhale, begin to pull that leg in towards the belly. Let it press into the belly. And inhale, release the leg back towards the chair. Good. Exhale, pull the leg into the belly. And inhale, release. Just continue to move with your breath, checking in, noticing that you have that support of the left leg, and that you still have that lengthened, elongated spine. Still have that good posture. Noticing all the muscles here that are gently moving. Noticing the arms, the abdomen, the muscles in the legs. And just continuing to move with the breath. Good. One more time as you exhale, pull the leg into the belly. And inhale, release the foot all the way back to the blanket. Gently move the knee back and forth. And release the fingers, releasing any tension we might have caused in the fingers from holding the leg. We'll take the same movements on the opposite side. When you're ready, extending the left foot. Starting with that pointing and flexing. And noticing maybe at first the difference between the right and left ankles, observing how the left foot begins to warm up and increase in circulation. When you're ready, slowly begin to move into circling the ankle. Extending through the toes as much as is comfortable, making the toes part of the circling. Again, getting that sensation and circulation all the way into the tips of the toes. When you're ready, changing direction, moving in the opposite direction. Noticing any release and tension. Checking in with the breath even, making sure you still have that steady breath. When you're ready, finding that place in the center, keeping the heel where it is and just moving the toes back and forth as if you're waving with the foot. And again, noticing that rotation of the whole leg with the movement. Again, you can either stay here or you can begin to move the heel back and forth, tracing across the front of the body. following the heel towards the midline. With the inhale, exhale, moving the heel towards the outer line. Noticing those muscles, gently working on both sides of the legs, gently building that strength. Next, inhale, find your way back to center, and exhale, just gently lower that foot back to the blanket. Begin to move the hands underneath the left leg or around the left knee, and find those same movements on this side as we did in the right. As you exhale, begin to pull the leg in towards the belly, let it press into the belly, and inhale, release. Exhale, pull it in towards the belly like it's pressing the breath out of the body, and inhale, release. Good, continuing to move with the breath. Allowing that left leg to massage the abdominal organs, increasing the circulation. And always moving with the breath. One more time, pull it into the body on the exhale. And inhale, release the foot back to the blanket. Gently move the left knee back and forth. Release the fingers, stretching out the fingers, circling the wrists. Find that release. And allow the hands to rest back on the legs. Moving into the hips. When you're ready, just begin to lean into one hip bone and then the other, just kind of shifting your weight from side to side. Notice how it feels to lift one hip bone and then the other. If this is comfortable, maybe you can begin to walk on the hip bones, moving one hip bone at a time towards the front of the chair. When you reach the tip of the chair, just begin to make your way towards the back of the chair, shifting on the hips, walking on the hip bones towards the back of the chair. And just continue to walk the hips to the front of the chair and walk the hips to the back of the chair as you have space. Maybe noticing that this feels good in the low back and the hips. Noticing that increase in circulation. Noticing how we're getting into those muscles surrounding the hips. And when you're ready, finding your way back towards a seat, a position towards the back of the chair. Next, moving into cat rolls, allow the hands to rest on the knees. And first we're going to inhale, slide the hands up towards the top of the legs, maybe slightly press into the legs, lengthen through the spine, the shoulders relax, maybe the chin slightly lifts. With the next exhale, begin to move the hands towards the knees, move the chin towards the chest and around the spine behind you. And just begin to move back and forth with the breath between these two poses. So every inhale, slide the hands up, get length through the spine. Every exhale, round the spine behind you, maybe pulling in at the low belly. Good, inhale coming up, lengthening, creating space across the front of the chest. Every exhale, rounding the spine behind you, maybe noticing the pelvis tilt behind you, stretching the low back. Good, a couple more times, inhale, lengthening. Maybe the chin lifts, but the shoulders relax. Exhale, round the spine behind you. Chin moves towards the chest. And next inhale, find your way to a comfortable neutral position. Maybe roll the shoulders, release any tension we've caused in the shoulders. Next, moving into a gentle twist. Inhale the arms up towards the ceiling, overhead. And as you exhale, begin to twist towards your left, gently. The right hand comes to the left knee. Left arm can just rest next to the chair or behind the chair if you have the space. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, through the crown of the head. Maybe as you exhale, you look over that left shoulder to a comfortable position. And just holding the pose here in this gentle twist. Noticing that you're continuing the breath, breathing up and down the spine. Maybe with every inhale, you notice that sense of lengthening through the crown of the head. And every exhale, you notice yourself rooting down through the hip bones and the tailbone into your supported chair. When you're ready, inhale, returning back to center, arms lift up and overhead. And as you exhale, begin to twist towards the right, left hand to right knee, right arm next to or behind the chair. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, head and neck, last look out over that right shoulder. Continuing the breath, but holding the gentle twist. Allow the belly to soften and the face to soften. Every inhale, lengthen through the spine. Every exhale, everything relaxes around that lengthened spine. Noticing the breath moving up and down the spine. When you're ready, inhale, release the arms, come back to center, lifting the arms up and overhead. And then exhale, returning the hands all the way down to the legs. And relax the shoulders and relax the hands. So next we'll move into standing poses. So as you're ready, just begin to stand up away from the chair. You can bring the blanket that's on the floor and place the blanket on the chair. And then move the chair towards the front of the mat. And then find your place behind the chair, hands on the back of the chair for support. Begin to look down and notice the feet. See if you can place the feet about hip distance apart. So noticing where the hip bones are and kind of drawing a line down from the hip bones. Notice that the toes are pointed towards the short end of the mat, the front of the mat. And notice that the sides of the feet are parallel to the sides of the mat. This might make you feel a little bit pigeon-toed as the big toes might come a little bit closer to each other. But noticing that internal rotation of the legs. And when you're ready, just begin to, as you inhale, begin to lean onto the toes, maybe slowly lift the heels. And as you exhale, lean back onto the heels and lift the toes. Good, and so you can stay here just kind of gently rocking back and forth. Or you can begin to find larger movements, maybe lifting the heels up a little bit higher with every inhale, lifting the toes up a little bit higher with every exhale, shifting the weight into the front of the feet with the inhale, shifting the weight into the back of the heels with the exhale. Still using the front of the chair for support. Just allowing these movements to grow from here. Noticing all of the muscles surrounding the ankles and the legs, those stabilizing muscles, begin to warm up. And if you feel like a balance challenge, you can begin to lift one arm at a time. As you inhale, lift one arm towards the ceiling, and exhale, release that hand back towards the back of the chair. Good, so find the same movement on the opposite side. Inhale the opposite arm, and exhale, lower that hand back to the back of the chair. And just continue to move one arm at a time with the breath. Following your own breath rate, following kind of your own comfort zone, staying within your comfort zone. Maybe if you feel like an extra balance challenge, you can try both arms, just kind of notice how that feels. Just finding that same slow, steady breath linked to the movement. Good, maybe finding one more movement wherever you are, one more inhale. And then exhale, release back onto the feet. Allow the hands to find the back of the chair. You can kind of roll and release the ankles, releasing any tension we've caused, or bend and straighten the knees if that feels good. Moving into Warrior One, begin to step the right foot directly underneath the bar behind the chair. Taking a big step back with that left foot. Finding a bend in the front of the right knee. Good, and just noticing that the feet are almost on train tracks, so they're about hip distance or wider apart for balance. And they're not in the same line, so it's not as if we're on a tightrope, it's as if we're on train tracks, helping us to find our balance. Good, checking in with the bend in the front leg and the right leg. You can bring the hands to the hips and just kind of notice where the hips are. Notice that you're pressing evenly into both feet. So the front foot feels as if it's pressing the mat towards the front, and the back foot feels as if it's pulling that mat towards the back of the mat. And when you're ready, begin to extend the arms about to abdomen level. And we're just going to find some movements with the breath. So as you inhale, just begin to press the hands up towards the chest. And exhale, press the palms back down. Good. Just begin to move with the breath, these movements with the hands. Every inhale raises, every exhale lowers the palms. Making sure you still have that bend in the front knee and you're still pressing evenly into both legs. Noticing the connection to the breath with the movement, as if the exhale is slowly lowering the hands, as if the inhale is gently lifting the hands. You can even close the eyes if you feel balanced and just notice this connection to the breath. Good. Next, exhale, lower those hands all the way to resting on the back of the chair. Good. And we'll just slowly begin to switch feet. So begin to step the left foot up to the back of the chair and step the right foot back towards the back of the mat. So checking in with the feet again, making sure the left foot, toes are pointed towards the short end of the mat, the front of the mat. You have a big step back with that right foot. So there's about 2 to 3 feet between the front foot and the back foot. Put the bend in the front knee, but keep the back leg straightened. Making sure you feel balanced and creating that space between the feet if you feel as if that's necessary to keep your balance. When you're ready, begin to bring the hands about to chest level, palms facing each other, fingers extended but relaxed. When you're ready, begin to move with the breath here. So as you inhale, the hands kind of pull apart. As you exhale, the hands press back towards each other. Good. Inhale, moving the hands apart, expanding with the inhale. Exhale, pressing the palms together like you're pressing the breath out of the body. Good. And just continue to find these movements linked to your own breath. Checking in, making sure you still have that bend in the front knee. That you're still equally distributing the weight between both legs, both feet. You can even close the eyes again if you feel balanced and kind of notice how you can fully link the movement to the breath. Next, exhale, allow the hands to lower all the way to the back of the chair and step that back foot up to meet the front foot. Moving into our balancing pose. Today we'll take tree pose. So just begin to notice your left foot. Maybe begin to spread the toes wide. Begin to find that stable left leg. Begin to root down through that left foot and put most of your weight into the left leg. And with your right foot, you can either begin to kind of just turn the foot out to the side and only focus on putting weight into the left leg. If you're comfortable, you can begin to make a kickstand with the foot, just kind of leaning the right heel against the left ankle. Good, and kind of noticing where your balance is here. If you'd like a challenging position, you can always move the foot up towards the calf, resting that right foot on the left calf. But just noticing that you're avoiding the knee area so as not to put pressure on that left knee joint. And so noticing where that comfortable place is for the feet to be for your balancing pose. And once you're ready, begin to kind of explore movements and shifting with the hands and the arms. Maybe bringing one hand towards the heart. Pausing here. Checking in with the breath, noticing that you still have that steady breath. Maybe noticing something on the floor and the chair in front of you to focus upon with your gaze. Allowing that to help you keep your balance. Continuing that deep and steady breath. Maybe the other hand begins to meet the hand at the chest. You can even bring the hands to a prayer position in front of the chest. And just noticing how this feels, if you need to move the foot down to provide more support, or if you even want to move the hands back to the chair to find support. And noticing the breath here again, keeping that connection to the breath. It's tempting to hold the breath in these balancing positions. If this feels good, you can extend the arms up overhead, maybe for a balance challenge. Just finding your own comfortable challenge. Go ahead, finding one more breath here. Whenever you're ready, slowly bring the hands back to heart center if they're over the head. Go ahead and slowly bring the hands back to the back of the chair. And then slowly begin to release that right foot away from the left. First, noticing the difference between the right and the left leg. And as you're ready, just begin to circle the ankles in both legs, releasing any tension. When you're ready, setting up for tree pose on the opposite side. First, finding that stable position through the right foot, kind of grounding down through that right leg, maybe spreading the toes to support the leg. And as you're ready, slowly begin to find your comfortable position for that left leg. Maybe you want to just kind of point the toes out to the side and focus on putting your weight into the right leg. Maybe you want to begin to make that kickstand. Or maybe if you're feeling brave, you want to begin to bring that left foot to the right calf, resting in the right calf. And again, just avoiding the knee area, the knee joint in the right leg. And when you're ready, slowly begin to notice the breath. Keeping that awareness of the breath and that steady focus on the breath. Maybe you want to play around with bringing one hand to the heart. Maybe both hands, maybe hands at prayer position. Noticing if it feels better to maybe lower that left leg down to support the right leg. Finding your comfortable edge. Still finding that connection to the breath. Making sure you're not holding the breath. Maybe still finding that focus point where you can keep your gaze to help you keep your balance. When you're ready, if you'd like a balance challenge, slowly begin to lift the hands up overhead. Noticing all of the muscles working in that left leg and the right leg to help support the pose. When you're ready, slowly lowering the hands back to heart center. Slowly lowering the hands all the way to the back of the chair. And slowly lowering the left leg. Notice the legs first and then begin to circle the ankles or bend and straighten the knees to release any tension throughout the legs. Setting up for a forward fold, just begin to step close to the back of the chair. As you are ready, begin to inhale and lengthen through the crown of the head and press down through the feet. Feel the legs activate. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. One more inhale to lengthen, and as you exhale, just begin to hinge forward and walk the hands down the side of the chair. Moving down to a forward fold, leaning forward as far as is comfortable. You can rest the palms in the blanket on top of the chair. If it feels like this is too much, you can always kind of move the hands back up the sides of the chair to find a more comfortable pose. If you feel like you'd rather have a deeper stretch, you can even come onto the forearms resting on the seat of the chair, if you have the space. Wherever you are, just release the head and the neck. Gently shake the head no, release any tension. Soften the jaw, soften the face. And this should feel good, especially in the low back and the spine. So just noticing if any part of this pose doesn't feel right. Finding a way to back off and create more space for yourself. You can always put a bend in the knees if it's too much behind the legs. Maybe taking one big deep inhale through the nose and then exhale like a sigh through the mouth. And when you're ready, slowly begin to come back, finding the palms in the blanket first, and then slowly walking the hands up the side of the chair, pressing your way back to a standing position. When you're ready, inhale, pull the shoulders up towards the ears, and exhale, soften the shoulders away from the ears back to their neutral position. And when you're ready, we're going to move onto the floor to start some floor poses. So just moving the chair off to the side of the mat. You can use the chair to help you find your way to the floor, starting in a hands and knees position, finding that tabletop position. You can use the blanket that's on the chair to support the knees, underneath the knees if you have issues with any knee pain. And just kind of setting up, making sure the knees are directly underneath the hips, the hands are directly underneath the shoulders, fingers spread wide. We'll begin to find our cat-cows here on our hands and knees. So as you are ready, begin to inhale and drop the belly. Lift the hips, maybe look up towards the top of the mat. And as you exhale, roll the spine towards the ceiling, maybe look back towards the legs. Good. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the heart, lift the hips. And then exhale, round the spine towards the ceiling. Chin moves towards the chest. Good. Just continuing to move with your own breath rate. Just moving into any part of the spine that feels good, that feels comfortable. Noticing maybe even where the movement is beginning, where it's initiated. Notice where the movement ends. So instead of just finding our way into one pose and then the other, we're really focusing on the movement, the transition between the poses. If it feels like it's too much on the wrists, you can always sit back and kind of roll the wrists, releasing any tension through the wrists. Good. When you're ready, finding your way back to a tabletop position. Maybe lift the left hand, roll the left wrist. Placing that left hand back on the mat. Do the same thing with the right hand and the right wrist, releasing any tension. And then placing that right hand back on the mat. And as you're ready, just begin to focus on putting your weight into the left hand. Maybe even moving the left hand a little bit more towards the center of the mat. And just begin to walk the right fingers out in front of the body, out towards the top of the mat. Maybe you begin to extend that left leg behind the body, keeping the toes planted on the mat. Just notice how it feels to press through the back heel. Good. Balancing in the left arm and the right knee. Taking one more inhale here. And as you exhale, just lowering that left knee back to meet the right, and then moving that right hand back to meet the left. Good. Taking a break whenever you need. Sometimes it feels good to kind of sit up, roll the wrists, release any tension. When you're ready, we'll find the same movements on the opposite side. Moving the right hand towards the center of the mat. Maybe the left hand slowly begins to walk towards the front of the mat. And begin to extend the right leg behind the body. Toes planted on the mat, just stretching through the back heel. Creating that length in the spine. Noticing that you're still having that steady breath. And with your next exhale, just slowly begin to lower the right knee back to meet the left. Left arm back to meet the right. And as you're ready, just begin to make your way onto your back. Moving mindfully, making your way to your seat. Bending at the knees and laying back on the back. Checking in, making sure that the feet are planted on the mat directly underneath the knees. Making sure that the knees are hip distance apart. They're not splayed to the side or they're not touching in the middle. And as you're ready, just begin to notice how it feels to tilt the pelvis up, lifting the pelvis off the mat. And as you exhale, just rolling that pelvis back towards the floor. Good. So as you inhale, you're lifting the pelvis. And exhale, just tilting, massaging that pelvis back towards the floor. Noticing how it feels on the low back, on the sacrum. If this is comfortable, you can begin to lift the hips a little bit higher. Maybe lifting through the low back, the middle back. As you exhale, just rolling back towards the mat, one vertebra at a time. Good. Just continuing to move with the breath, lifting the hips with the inhale and lowering the hips with the exhale. Good. One more time to however it feels comfortable. And then as you exhale, just slowly lowering the hips back to the mat, moving the knees back and forth, side to side, like windshield wipers. Good. And then finding your way back to center. If it feels good, you can begin to pull the knees in towards the chest using the hands. Just rock gently back and forth in the spine, massaging the length of the spine. When you're ready, releasing the feet back to the mat, releasing the arms to the sides. So making any last adjustments that you need to get completely comfortable. Just allowing the physical body to come very heavy into the mat. Allowing the back of the head to rest on the mat, behind the shoulders, behind the hips. You can move the head slowly side to side and releasing any last remaining tension in the neck, massaging the back of the head on its support. And when you're ready, begin to find stillness and use the focus in the mind to invite the physical body to soften and relax. Starting with the feet and the toes, notice how it feels to soften the toes and relax the bottoms of the feet, even the curve in the arches in the feet and behind the heels. Softening the tops of the feet, relaxing all around the ankles. Sometimes it's helpful to imagine a wave of relaxation moving into the body, softening the low legs, the shins, the calves. Allow the knees to relax, softening the space behind the knees. Relaxing the upper legs, letting go of any sense of effort. Just allowing both legs to be completely relaxed and softened. Moving into the hips and the pelvis, allowing the hips and the pelvis to completely relax. Allow the belly to become completely soft, letting go of any sense of holding in. Allowing the belly to soften and relax, and maybe noticing that the breath reaches into the belly a little bit easier. And to move the awareness into the back of the body. Notice how it feels to soften the lowest part of the spine, the sacrum, allowing the sacrum to rest into its support. Maybe again using that imagery of a wave of relaxation moving into the spine, relaxing the low back, softening the middle back and all of the muscles surrounding, completely relaxing the upper back and the shoulder blades, even softening behind the neck, the very top of the spine. Even allowing the back of the head to fully relax into its support. And just notice how the entire length of the spine is completely relaxed. And to bring the awareness into the rib cage, maybe observing that gentle breath softly moving the rib cage. Letting go of any sense of effort. Imagine relaxing the entire rib cage. Even imagine relaxing the heart and relaxing the lungs, noticing how that feels. When you're ready, begin to bring your awareness into the fingertips. Notice how it feels to soften every finger. Relax the back of the hands, noticing the centers of the palms and softening the palms of the hands. Allow the wrists to relax, and again, finding that wave of relaxation moving up the arms. The low arms relax, softening the elbows and the insides of the elbows. Relaxing the upper arms completely. Softening into the shoulders and into the sides of the neck. Noticing that both arms are completely relaxed. Again, softening all around the neck, even the front of the throat. Begin to allow the jaw to soften and relax, letting go of any effort. Allowing the mouth to relax, even the tongue relaxes. Notice how that feels. Begin to allow the entire face to become soft, softening the cheeks and the nose, relaxing the eyes and the temples, allowing the forehead to soften and the point between the eyebrows, even softening the very top of the head and the crown of the head, noticing how that feels. And just begin to observe the physical body, relaxed into complete stillness. Begin to observe that gentle breath moving very subtly through the physical body. Noticing that no matter how gentle and subtle the breath becomes, it's still there, fully supportive. Just allowing that breath to wash over the physical body, just like waves moving over a shoreline. And as you're ready, again, observing the mind. Noticing how it feels to become aware of any thoughts without becoming attached or involved. Noticing the thoughts that come up, but then allowing them to pass. Just like watching clouds pass in a clear blue sky. Maybe noticing how it feels to connect to a deeper sense of peace. A place that's untouched by anything, untouched by any disease or trauma or circumstance. Noticing how it feels to find complete rest in that peaceful place. And as you're ready, slowly begin to bring the awareness back into the breath. First, just observing the natural breath without any effort. Again, noticing how the breath washes over the physical body, moving into every part of the body. Maybe noticing where the breath is allowing the body to rise and fall. Notice how it feels to slowly begin to deepen the breath, allowing that deepening to bring your awareness back into the physical level. Maybe again noticing the hips resting on their support, behind the shoulders, behind the head. Begin to become fully aware of the physical body, maybe bringing very subtle movements into the fingers, into the toes. Notice how that brings your full awareness back. As you're ready, slowly deepening the breath even more, bringing in more air, more oxygen. Slowly begin to stretch out the fingers and toes. As you're ready, maybe beginning to bring larger movements in, circling the wrists and the ankles. And if it feels good, you can inhale, reach the arms up overhead and stretch the legs out, growing long. And as you exhale, just kind of soften the arms down to the sides. If it feels good, you can walk the feet to the edge of the chair and move the knees side to side. Noticing how that massages the low back, the sacrum. And then as you're ready, slowly begin to find your way to your seat. Bring the legs down from the chair, maybe pausing on one side or the other if that's comfortable. Maybe allowing for one more moment to reconnect with the breath, reconnect with that deepened sense of awareness, that sense of peace. Knowing that feeling is always available It's just a matter of reaching it through your practice. And as you're ready, slowly, fully making your way to your seat, whether on the chair or on the floor, whatever's comfortable. And bring the hands to the heart, noticing the palms touching. Maybe taking one last deep inhale, one last long exhale. And as you're ready, slowly opening the eyes and coming back into your space. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope that you're feeling relaxed and refreshed as you go throughout the rest of your day. Please keep this practice in mind and feel free to rewatch this video as many times as you need. Again, thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you soon.